Well, good morning from Australia. This is Troy
Hello.
Umlauf. Troy, I've always been asking myself, am I saying it properly? Is it Troy
Yeah,
Umlauf
you're
or
perfect. Yeah, we've uh,
Umlauf?
we've Aus- we've Australianized it a bit, and we say umlauf, but
Umlauf? Okay.
umlauf is correct.
All right. Yeah, well,
Hmm.
I don't want to insult anybody, or at least if I do, I want to be out of the country. So,
you you're probably a bit too far away to throw rocks at, Jim, so you're safe.
all right, that's good. Folks, this is another rousing rendition of Seven Spots, let's see, virtual and socially distant sevens. And tonight we've got Troy again, and he's got a few more things to say about his Kestrel. And I've got a few questions too, Troy, if you don't mind me starting out. I had not even known, I mean, I know a little bit about clubbies, but I knew nothing about Kestrels whatsoever. So, and I know that you said that this is unit number one. I
Yes.
can't find an awful lot of information on the web about them. Can you tell
No.
me?
Well, it's
Tell,
all sort of done pre-internet, these builds. My car is actually 27 years old.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I first saw it being built in 1989. I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And it didn't get registered until 1993. So, and the fellow that started all, he's a bit of a genius and a beautiful craftsman. Um, he built about eight of them, but unfortunately, he wasn't the best businessman.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up selling to someone else by the name of Tim Rees in Adelaide, and he built about another eight himself. But then life sort of gets in the way, and he had to move on to other things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no more being built, which is a shame. But Greg Mobbs, he used to work for Brabham's in England, as I said before, but he's worked in a lot of race workshops fabricating. And he's built a lot of different cars and restored a lot of different cars. And he built a couple of clubmans back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the 80s, he sort of got involved in this and built quite a few. And this was just basically not really his prototype, but number one chassis that he built for his brother-in-law. And yeah, it sort of stemmed from there. So we sort of got involved because we knew Greg through a TAFE college where my father worked.
Mm-hmm.
And they were building Formula Holden racing cars there. So um, we got to know Greg, and he didn't live too far away from where we were. So we'd go out and have a look to see what he's doing because we're all mad car people. Myself being a mechanic and Dad a mechanic. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we got involved, and Dad's car is number eight, and that actually, because back in the 90s, the laws were a little bit different. It was a little bit harder to get them registered with emissions. So it runs on straight LP gas.
Yes, I got
Um,
it.
and we were both gas fitters at the time. So Dad got a bit involved in getting the car going. And he, when the owner passed away, is an old eccentric sort of fella. He passed away, and Dad bought the car off the estate. So he had his first, and then this one came up for sale in 2001, and I've owned it for nearly 19 years now. So,
It's a
yeah,
beauty.
so
Is that the
yeah,
original? Is that the original paint that was on it when you bought it?
yeah, pretty much the front. I think the back guards have been painted, and
Uh-huh.
obviously the roof has been painted. That's it's all new.
It's
Um,
it's gorgeous, and that color match that you've got for your canopy is fabulous.
yeah, my brother's luckily he's an automotive painter,
Mm-hmm.
so and he just loves his craft. He
Mm-hmm.
actually paints a lot of racing cars and kit cars. He's actually got a Mustang coming up to do as the Bullet replica.
Oh yeah,
I can't think of the name of the movie. The green Mustang.
yeah.
Um, um, so he's got one of those to do, but yeah, he just loves it, and he loves getting a good finish and takes pride in his work.
Well, I can see. I
He's,
mean, the color match. I mean, this is just the internet and so on, but you've sent me some photos, and yeah, the color match is spot on. It's
yeah,
beauty, just gorgeous.
yeah, he has a very good feel for doing things and shaping things. So he is able to give me a bit of guidance. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, just getting back to the car, it's got an independent rear end.
Mm-hmm.
It used a Datsun or a Datsun
Mm-hmm.
rear differential centre and drive shafts,
Yes.
all fabricated uprights, top and lower control arms all fabricated. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very good ride handling car.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, front suspension is all Holden Gemini uprights, which is a little 4-cylinder car that was sold in Australia.
Boy, those are little. Look at those wishbones. Those are nice little.
Everything.
Look at that.
TIG welded.
Yeah.
Beautiful job.
Yeah.
And the frame is just beautiful. This car originally came with I'll get to the engine eventually, but it came with a Ford Crossflow Kent engine, which it still has, but to get it past, it had a downdraft Weber on it, which sort of sat up through the bonnet. So that's why this car has like the bonnet scoop on it.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Which some people don't like and some people do. So, yeah. So, as I said, I've owned it for nearly 19 years, and I was sort of getting to the stage where I wasn't using it much, and I actually put it up for sale, and I thought, I just don't use this thing because it's a bit uncomfortable after so long. You know, we like to go for a Sunday drive for a couple of 100 Ks, and as you know, doing a couple of 100 Ks on a Sunday afternoon, one of these things, it gets pretty tiring, and the wife wasn't interested anymore, which is fair enough. So, and we had the Clubman Nationals here last year, and I got a little bit re-enthused with it all, and I actually went through all the engine and redid all my alloy work on the engine bay, and after all that period of time, I thought I'd try and make myself a bit more comfortable, and I moved my pedals forward, which sort of took me a day and a half of fabricating, and so at least I fit a bit better now.
Yes.
It's amazing what you put up with. And then I went through and just did things like retrimmed all the dash, and is that a bit dark there? But yeah, just sort of retrimmed all the dash, and you've got to love this, Jim. Made matching gear knobs, and
I can see that. Yeah,
handbrake knobs.
Yeah,
and even the indicator got one, so a little bit of OCD. Anyway, I was just looking for projects. I'm the type of person that's always got to be doing something, and I thought, well, we've got a local place called Paramount Browns, which is like an importer, and it's been terrible them moving in because I've spent so much money there buying tools and equipment, so just make life easier. So I went and bought an English wheel, and I just started mucking around and had a bit of fun, and I tried about 3 different ways of doing the roof. I'll show you one of my failures. So I tried to make it too much in one piece to start with. I never intended to put that V in the roof, but it's just the way it worked out, because once I'd stretched the metal so much, I thought, well, let's see what I can do with this. And I actually put all this V in just using the English wheel, just learning how to use it. Thank Christ for YouTube and all the wonderful videos that are on YouTube. I drove my wife nuts watching that every lunch break.
A nice flexible shape pattern.
Yeah, look, I haven't got into the flexible shape pattern yet. But I think probably the biggest mistake, you try and cut corners to start with. Like, I didn't make a buck, which I did have to eventually do that. So if anyone's watched the video on YouTube, you can see where I've made a timber buck. But basically, this roof now is about 14 pieces welded together. So
that's spot. Really?
Across the front of the roof, so there's a section. All down the side here is sort of another section, and the trick is not to try and do too big a piece at once. Even across the back, there's sort of one section here, there's another section here, there's another section welded in here. The brake light is all aluminium constructed. This whole housing is all aluminium. So yeah, just if you've got a smaller panel to work with, it just makes it a bit easier. But like I said, I was no expert to start with. I certainly have a background in welding and fabricating. I've been welding aluminium for a very long time. So I had those skills, but to actually fabricate, it's just all trial and error. And I think it's just one of those things in life. If you're quite prepared to fail, you learn more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gorgeous. Yeah, so, drop dead gorgeous. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and even just working out little things like the catch. It's just a bit of stainless steel machined up in the lathe, and little mini boot hinges, and just a bit of perspex for the rear window. Yeah, so I'm very pleased with the result of the roof.
How does that tie down, Troy?
So inside, just excuse me a sec. Jenny, can you grab me a torch off that other bench, please? So inside here, oh, you can't see, it's too dark. But basically, there's 5 bolts across the back, just little 6mm bolts, and 2 bolts across the windscreen. I've just used nut certs everywhere where I could. Yeah, my beautiful assistant had got me a torch. So you can just see there where it bolts in. There's just a nut cert into the windscreen frame. And the whole roof is very sturdy. So I've made it quite strong. There's ribs through the roof, which make it very strong.
Wow.
Because you do get a bit of drumming from the roof without all that strength in it.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
But I ended up carpeting it, putting carpet up and everything like that, which sort of makes it so much more comfortable. Yeah.
It is a thing of beauty.
Having a technical issue, Jim. I've lost you.
That's all right. Step back. I want you to know that I can. We're still with you. We can hear you, and we can see what's going on just fine.
So yeah, I lost my earplug for a sec. So there's a bit better look at the dashboard. I just sort of retrimmed it all. Yeah, rewired it all. But it's all still the original gauges and everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. And and then I had another go at making the doors. And the doors make a big difference. And to drive the car now is a real pleasure. It's still a quick, light, fun car. But you just haven't got all that drumming and turbulence around your head. And, you know, like if you're doing a long drive, you'll still put earplugs in just for the noise factor. But, and even now you put the heater on, it gets warm in there. You don't have to wear your thermal underwear to take it for a decent drive.
Yeah.
Now, these are my Genius catchers. They're just a Nitto air fitting for the doors. So, stand back here.
Very nice, Troy.
All right. Now, I'll just put the camera down for a sec and I'll lift the bonnet and then we'll have a bit of a talk about the engine. So.
Absolutely. And while Troy's doing that, you get to look at my mug for a bit. He's going to adjust knobs and turn dials. And away we go, and we're going back to him. One moment.
Right, I'm back. Move my finger out the way.
Beauty.
Have I got you back, Jim? Yeah.
You do, yeah.
Now, I've always been a fiddler and a fabricator with aluminium. But actually went through, like I said, and redid some of the aluminium work and changed a few things. So I remade a new airbox for my Webbers. So the engine is a 1600 Ford Escort engine, or a Kent engine that people refer to.
Yeah, I know the engine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's running a Datsun 1800 crankshaft. Now, the reason for that is quite a common conversion. It's a cheap way of getting a steel crankshaft, which is good for about 10,000 RPM. Not that I rev it that high, but they're a very strong crankshaft with a little bit of machining. You can make them fit. They're a double counterbalance crank, which I put in my little lathe and tried to knife edge the crank as good as possible. And then I had to get a bit of all the journals ground and the front and rear ends resized to take the seals and harmonic balancer and so forth. But it just takes all the harshness out of the Ford motor, and it's like a Japanese engine almost now. It just revs so nicely. It will rev to about 8,500 revs.
Yes.
I generally, you only run it to 7.5 because you don't want to blow the thing to pieces. Another spruik for MSD units. I never used to be a fan of them, but I fitted one to this, and I cannot believe the difference in drivability. The engine just has so much more grunt and torque down low. I think it's just because it's a bit of a wild engine, it just burns the fuel so much better. So, yeah, that's a bit of a plug for MSD.
All right.
Yeah, very happy with it. Now, another thing I'll just quickly talk about. Also, the engine has roller rockers and stainless steel valves and been fully ported and everything. The beauty of the Kent motor is there's so much available for it. So there's the engine catch tank. what I did there, that's about the 5th generation of catch tank that I've had on it. But
Yes.
The air enters it, and there's actually a spiral of aluminium inside, which the air and oil spins around and sort of flings the oil out of the air. And then from that tank, it comes down to another one. And any oil that's caught in that catch tank then drains back down to the sump. Right. And that's probably taken 10 years to get that right, and it works perfectly now. I don't get any oily fumes. It's just the fact that the engine's revving so hard, and it's a 40-year-old design, so they tend to breathe. If you have a look at a modern engine, the lengths they go to stop crankcase breathing and the rocker cover, well, this is just an open chamber up there. So, yeah, that works quite well. Also, I went through and always wanted to try electric water pump, so I got rid of the water pump and just made a plug for it and plugged all that off and got an electric water pump.
And you're happy with it?
Yeah, fantastic. The beauty of you turn the engine off, the water pump keeps going, the fan keeps going, cools the engine down. Probably takes the engine a little bit longer to warm up. I ended up putting a thermostat back in because they say you can run with or without, but it was just taking too long to get hot, especially on cold climate. And it's nice to have the heaters working properly. Yeah, so.
Wow, beauty.
Yeah. So, no, it's a lovely little car. Very nice to drive.
What do we want?
Now, another thing I get asked a lot is how you get in and out of the car. So I can do a quick demo if you like.
I'm ready.
You're ready?
I'm ready. I'm leaning back.
I'll sit you. Now, just bear in mind, I'm 6 foot tall, so I might even take my jacket off for this. So you're in luck, Jim.
Oh, thanks.
So I normally just put my arse in first.
Yeah.
Legs in.
Wow. Wow.
Getting out is not as graceful, but it works.
No, I'm going to wait for you to get back online. I just watched that, Troy. Are you with me? I just watched that. Yeah, you know what? That's much more graceful than I could do in mine. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think the trick is with the steering wheel, if you put your bum in first, then swing your legs in. On the passenger side, you can sort of drop a foot in and then fall in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really no effort. Like I said before, it just makes the car so much more user-friendly with the roof. We can go out on a colder day and be comfortable. And it's only really a 10-minute exercise to take the roof off. Not that I have, because I'm still in love with it and love driving it the way it is after owning the car for so long without a roof.
Well, Troy, don't sell it now. That's it's a beauty.
Yeah. Just down here you can see where I extended my pedals about a 75 mil. It makes just a world of difference.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, so no, very pleased. I'm very quite proud of the roof, actually, the fact that it's not my trade. And yes, so if anyone hasn't seen the YouTube video, just Google my name and quite a few videos come up.
Well, I'm definitely going to do an attachment or put in the links in the notes to go back to your YouTube channel, and so that if anybody's interested, you can watch that process, because that's how I found you. So I'm quite taken with it, because we both are watching similar stuff on different YouTube channels in basically metal bashing, and and well, what can I say? Gorgeous job, Troy. Fabulous.
Yeah. Well, as they say, I'm actually YouTube certified now. I actually have a qualification as a full-blown motor mechanic, but you can't beat that YouTube certification.
Oh yeah, you can't. It's perfect.
That's right. Yeah, there's always plenty of YouTube experts out there, but Jesus, there's some fantastic stuff to learn.
Well, there are some experts, and then there's a bunch of guys who aren't, and and there's some guys who do it every day and they do it well, and the cream rises to the top. Yeah.
All right, I'll just give you a real quick workshop tour of people that might be interested.
Perfect.
I do a bit of metal fabrication. I actually work from home. I'm a general mechanic, but because I've always had a love of racing cars and fabricating, a job sort of lands your way, and I sort of semi-retired at home now, so we can take life a little bit easier and just do the jobs as they come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a MIG and TIG welder, a nice Kempy MIG welder, and a little sheet metal folder, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just all your general stuff, and nice little hurless lathe. And I tell you what, anyone that has a lathe and wants to make it a beautiful thing, put a digital readout on. It's just the best conversion you can do. It just goes from being an amateur sort of machinist to really quite good, because you can trust it and they're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They're only about $250. So this is the junk corner, all the scrap aluminium, all the gold is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. My wife is doing rings around the workshop trying to avoid the camera.
And the dog doesn't care.
No. And this is my waste oil burner, Jim. I couldn't survive without this now. It's just the best thing.
Yeah.
Just takes the chill off the air. And just quickly through here, this is where I do most of my work, just a nice lift.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously booked no work today because we had something special on, talking to you.
Well, I do thank you. We all thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'd just like to take a moment to thank you, Jim, because people like you that have such an enthusiasm for cars and kit cars, it really makes owning a car a bit more pleasurable and enjoyable.
Well, I've said it
people
before.
Like you doing this sort of stuff.
Well, I'll take the accolades, but you know what? It's a community that we all enjoy. When I first started doing this 7-spot thing, I did not realize that the community was so vast and spread so far. It's literally on every continent except for maybe Antarctica. But it's an amazing thing. We all speak the same language. It's just it's a unique thing with clubbies and low costs and Caterhams and Westfields and every other iteration that there is. It's all the same. It's an amazing community.
Yes, you can't beat the petrol heads. We all have something in common, and you can talk to anyone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. All right, Jim. Well, I really appreciate you having me on air. It's been
I'm going to do this, and I'm going to ask you to turn your camera around so that we can say goodbye.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that.
Have to get back to that, and there you go. Should be coming back soon. There I am.
There you
go. All rugged up.
Troy, Jim, I wanted to say, Troy, fabulous. You're a prince. Thank you for doing this.
You're a gentleman, Jim.
All right.
No worries.
Well, I'm going to say we're out of here for now. And as I sometimes say, big fire. Got to go.
All right. Good on you, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye now.